Good evening. My name is Ines Biumoka, runs among Buffalo, and I come from the clan, the Seldom Lonesomes. My grandfather, Bullhead, was the headsman. At that time, in the dog days, we never used chiefs. It was headsmen's, and we never lived the way we are on the reserve. At this reserve, I call it a prisoner warrior camp, because they gathered all our clan. The land was taken from us under a surrender. And with this surrender, they have to follow protocol in order to to surrender land from us. And it's the Royal Proclamation of October 7th, 1763. So with that, they brought us here on this prisoner camp to develop farming and ranching, while our people never knew anything about that. Our clan was given to us in rights from the wolf. The wolf showed us how to live in clans, how to hunt, how to gather medicine, and to heal, and to respect one another when we come to our sacred Ogon every summer. That's our New Year's. Right now, we're going next week. We're going into Ogon. Well, I was given documents from the Glenbow Museum, and these documents stated that like we never had a say in our the signing of this surrender. I mean, I don't call it a peace treaty. It's a surrender. And I argued with it because of this. This say is now it's come to where we're intertwined with the Western culture, and now we know that what they have tricked us into, and we have a say. This saying is that Colonel MacLeod was a best friend of my grandfather Bullhead, and he was really happy when he came in, and he removed all the whiskey traders from the Blackfoot, from our tribes, and 3 tribes, because they were ruining themselves, and they were selling off their valuables to the whiskey traders, and they were taking them because of the genocide. See, when the first genocide that hit us was in 1764, when the smallpox came, and we were in the millions because we owned all of Alberta, from North Saskatchewan River all the way down to Yellowstone River, to the Great Lakes, upwards to the Hudson Bay, to the North Saskatchewan River, down into the little of the flats of BC. So that's how strength we are. All these ornaments they used back then had a power. They might have taken a pipe from like a war, or all these kind of things. They were direct. It was a decoration for them. That when I went to court, Colonel MacLeod couldn't. When they had the signing up in Siksika, the Western culture people, they didn't know, what we talked about, and we couldn't communicate with one another. We didn't know English. They didn't know Blackfoot. We knew sign language, but their sign language was different from us. So we had some half breeds that Jerry Potts, his name was Bird. They interpret with us, but they didn't know the full meaning of our Blackfoot, and so they never signed. So with these documents that I have, there was only 3 headsmen that signed. My grandfather sitting behind Eagletail, Morning Plume, and many swans. And with this, how I found out with these documents, Colonel MacLeod wrote a letter to his wife, Mary MacLeod. She was in Medicine Hat at the time. And he explained in 1883 that they had to do perjury, treason, on us, because they got a letter from the Prime Minister at that time. They wanted to connect Canada. and we were standing on the way. So all these documents, now we have a say, but we're not going into like a war or anything, but I want to work with them because I'm friends with the Western culture too. We're living in it now. It's just like they captured a wolf. You put him in a cage. He wants to get out. Then he has pups. Those pups are used to that law. Then the old wolf goes. Those are our last of our role models. So right now we don't have any role models. We have to develop these again to make the child know who we are. And it's a very hard day, like the genocide they put on us. See, every generation and century, we're losing our freedom. So what I asked in the courts, that what I'm fighting for is to get rid of racism and the freedom of the people. And the people that are on our territory, I would like to, adopt them and bring them out of this, this world of, I don't know, perjury and all this kind of stuff that they're doing, and, set them free. And I'm just like Moses. I'll take their people and lead them to a better place and a better life. The poor people will live good, because in our history there was no poor people. We had everything, and our central resource was the buffalo. That was taken from us. So that genocide was declared last year when the Pope came. And then he declared it. He said it was genocide. And I fought that for 17 years. Then we have a woman that's in the MP right now, in Parliament. In September, she read her letter and they accepted it. So they did accept it was genocide. So right now, I want to see, we're not wards of Canada, Alberta, and that. And with all these things, like our resources was taken. So with all these leases and what they did to us, in 1930 they made a Natural Resource Act of 1930, and it consists of when Hudson Bay sold our territory to Prince Rupert to Canada, Alberta, and the CPR. So there's no consent of any kind that states that they own anything right now. So if Canada doesn't want to listen, and we had all these years to develop that, and we have people that do work for the government, it's under Indian Act. That's not our governance. It's foreign to us, and that's why we're not getting anywhere. And that I wanted to go back to our clans, and we can still drive vehicles, watch TV, and all this kind of stuff. But I wanted to get to the United Nations with these documents and tell them what, deal with the king and the queen, and tell them that, look here, we need to go to the tables and do it in a respectful manner. None of these kind of wars across in Europe and all what they're doing and that. Let's do it in a mature way. And I will accept non-natives, and will adopt them as Blackfoot people, as like how the Canada citizenship. But it's going to be a lot better, because I'll take away the taxes, and take away all these things. But they'll have to pay rent, but they'll live a good life, just like us too. And we'll all work together and develop a good relationship with the non-natives. Like, I'm a lawmaker. I'm writing our constitution law, because there's in North America, all First Nations don't have a constitution to protect them. And so I believe in that. Our constitution law will give us law, so we can develop resources for ourselves and work with the government. But they got to come to the people, the real people, in order to process these things, if they want to come and bring in their law, because we cannot have that anymore. So when I was doing this constitution argument in court, they would I went through 3 levels because there's 4 levels, so I went through 3 levels of it, and they expressed that I go back and organize my people, and as today from the residential era, they became very mean and aggressive, and when they start using alcohol, that's where the trauma comes in. There's killings, there's rolls, there's people dying of alcohol, families not getting along and all that. So, that's not our way, and I respect people that use it, but come on, be mature what you're doing when you're drinking and that, and the drugs too, what they're doing to our youth. We're losing our youth. They want their identity. I had my nephew and 2 other his friends come down to my house. I opened it up and I brought back their identity. Now my nephew is running he's the leader of the Brave Dogs. So right now I'm suffering with I've got a cane with me, and I have neuropathy on my legs and my arms, but I really push myself to get that strength back, and I feel like it is coming back with that. And I went at that museum up at the Crow's Nest Pass, and I expressed myself and how they wanted to know about the swamps, and they seen buffalo skulls and stuff like that. I told them, well, that's one of our techniques. We used to chase them into the swamp, and that's where we used to shoot them. Or we have corrals. The people will take down their lodges and they intertwine their teepee poles around, and they'll chase them in. And then the women and the people will be using their buffalo ropes to keep them in. They'll be all around scaring them, and the men will come in with their bow and arrows and their spears, and that they'll take them all out. So we never had no one starving, and we never made our territory, our enemy made our territory. And I really believe in helping one another. With Colonel McLeod, we have that letter stating that, they should have destroyed it, and they didn't. And it was my cousin came into Glenbow Museum, and they asked him to catalog it. And when he was a master's at the university, and he was doing his thesis for his PhD, and then he comes up and he says, "Oh my God, we found what we were asking questions about." So we have these, and they're all over on the reserves now. Everybody, I gave it all out, and right now I just prayed that they'll listen at the top level, and I don't want to have any war or anything. I want to do it in a peaceful way. My mother and dad were the last of the residential, but there's still people alive. There's like maybe about 5% left. So now I'm really happy that our Sundance is getting bigger with the younger people. They're getting involved and they're doing all this. I'll cook too, and I showing people how to cook and stuff like that. And I'm really happy for people are saying that our language is gonna die, but it's gonna come back. But they can kill my body, but my spirit will always be here, and that's where I'm at. And I'm really glad that you came. But that world is coming. We might be really old to see it, but I know that our generations and the people that are not, the babies that are not born, we're gonna be all together, and that's my goal, to see freedom for my people and racism to leave. And thank you for interviewing me. I like to say more, but the sun's going down, and thank you very much.